Good morning out there, everybody. This is Alan with D9J Sports. We're right back at it on the drive this morning. We've got a good one lined up for you as you head into the office. Bill Belichick. Reports are coming out that Bill Belichick isn't going to be a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer. The legendary coach. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't make any sense. But it poses the question, if Bill Belichick isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, what about Brady? What about the great Tom Brady? Hold on to the steering wheel. Let's jump right into this thing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when I first heard the reports yesterday coming out that Bill Belichick was not nominated as a first ballot Hall of Famer, I really couldn't believe it. I had to pull my car over on the side of the road and call a couple of buddies and say, man, is this true? Or is this something, you know how stuff is on social media, you don't know what to believe. But sure enough, ladies and gentlemen, reports are true that Bill Belichick will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. So I wanted to know what the reasons were, and that first thing popped out like everybody's going to think is because of Spygate. Well, that doesn't make any sense at all. You can love Bill Belichick, you can love or hate the New England Patriots, but for all the success that this man had, for him not to be a first ballot Hall of Famer doesn't make any sense. And as I say on my show all of the time, this is one of those things in sports that continues to drive me crazy. In modern day sports and modern day society, I guess it's stupidity sells. Stupidity sells, and this definitely is going to sell. And you already know that in another week or so, this is going to probably overrun some of the coverage of the Super Bowl, with the New England Patriots being in the Super Bowl. To think for a second that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. So reports are coming out that they're trying to use Spygate. Well, what about before Spygate? What about when he was the coach for the New York Giants as an extraordinary, and I do mean extraordinary, defensive coordinator to help them win two Super Bowls? We all remember the great defensive performance that the New York Giants defense put on. That game plan is actually in the Hall of Fame itself. And then to turn around to lead the New England Patriots to the Super Bowl like he did. And after Spygate, what was it? The three NFC championships, 3 Super Bowl wins. Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Now, they're saying that Bill Polian and Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, went in cahoots together, but that doesn't make any sense. And the only thing I can tell you is that if Robert Kraft actually let Bill Polian and them get together with him, then that's how your friends can lead you down a path of destruction. Doesn't matter how much money you have, you can still be led down a path of destruction, because this doesn't make any sense. Now, it poses the question. If they're going to hold Spygate against Bill Belichick, what about the GOAT? What about Tom Brady? Before we get into Brady, I need you to hit the like and subscribe button. It only takes a nanosecond to hit the like, subscribe, and the donate button. Now, let's continue to keep this thing rolling. So, if Bill Belichick isn't, so are you going to hold that against Tom Brady, Spygate, the quarterback on the team? Or are you going to hold that against the great Tom Brady? Or reports going to come out in a year or so that Tom Brady isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer? You know what that's going to do. This is going to be enough right here. But if you sit up and you try to tell anybody that Tom Brady isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, then what's the use of the Hall of Fame? We've already seen the Hall of Fame first round ballot thing snub people like Terrell Owens. And I know Terrell Owens right now is probably thinking, well, what was all this coverage at when he didn't get put in the first ballot? Well, he has a legitimate point about that. But this one right here doesn't make any sense. What about Rob Gronkowski? He was on the team during Spygate. So you're telling me Rob Gronkowski isn't going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? These are some of the things that in sports that are out of control. A year or so ago, Deion Sanders already said how there should be levels to it. And this definitely should be a level to it. You tell me that he isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. What about all the other coaches who have one ring, like Sean Payton? We know he's an extraordinary coach. Or what about Andy Reid? Andy Reid didn't get, is he going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Or is he going to be or he's even going to get in? There are some players in the National Football League that on the surface, if you ask me about them, I instantly would think that they were in the Hall of Fame, like the great legendary Drew Pearson, who he had to wait for I don't know how long. And if you ask me, I thought, damn, he was already in. Players like Art Monk. If you're old enough to know, I would think Art Monk would already be, but I don't even think he's in the damn Hall of Fame. Doesn't make any sense. The greatest, and I do mean the greatest football coach of all times is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Well, what the hell is the Hall of Fame for? What is it for, ladies and gentlemen? And once again, I can tell you, you can love or hate the New England Patriots. You can say they cheated. They didn't cheat all them damn games. It ain't like when Spygate came along that Bill Belichick was kicked out of the National Football League forever. It ain't like Tom Brady was kicked out forever. So you're telling me you're going to hold that against them? What about some of the other players in the Hall of Fame who've done stuff that got in the first ballot Hall of Famers? It doesn't make any sense. And I love Michael Irvin, but all the stuff Michael Irvin was getting to, you didn't hold that against him. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer deservingly. So that's just an example. Not picking on Mike, because you know I love Michael Irvin. But this doesn't make any sense to think that Bill Belichick isn't getting put as a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm sick of the National Football League. I'm sick of the National Football League because it continues on. It continues on. And this is another one of those things where it continues to let the public think, or continues to pour gas on the fire when it comes to, is all of this, excuse my language, I was about to let the devil take over the wheel. But it's just another one of those cases where you make it think all of this crap is rigged. It's rigged. Because if you sitting there thinking for 1 second that Bill Belichick shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer, then you probably need to stop watching sports. It's just like taking Michael Jordan away from the NBA. Take Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen away from the NBA, or legendary coaches like Phil Jackson, or the coach for the San Antonio Spurs. Oh, come on, man. Come on. That's what this is the equivalent to. Bill Belichick, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know about this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call it driving me crazy of the day. The driving me crazy. Well, hell no, this is the driving me crazy of the damn month. Because this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It doesn't make any sense. The National Football League, today's society, feeding, and I do mean feeding, on stupidity. This is Alan with D9J Sports. Have a good day at work today. Be careful on the drive, and we'll see you this evening. I'm definitely O-U-T.